Hey, good evening. Tonight I'm going to tell a campfire story. So pull up a log next to the fire, settle in. This one's got a little bit of everything. It's a little scary, a little science fiction, a little bit of everything. Let me get it posted up out there so that people know where I'm at, and we'll get started. Telling people I'm live on TikTok. So I'm glad you're here tonight. Like I said, going to tell a little story. This one's fiction. This isn't a true story, by the way. But I'm going to tell you the story about the hunt at Rattlesnake Creek, written by me. Let me get a couple of likes in there. You guys let me know if you like these stories. Even if you don't like them, the likes are free. You can show me a couple. Let's let the fire die down just a little bit. The call came the night before from Uncle Donald. His voice was calm but easy. Hey, y'all still hunting over at Rattlesnake Creek? He asked. Yeah, tomorrow at daylight, I told him. He paused. Well, you boys keep your eyes open. Something's been hanging around the farm. I got it on trail camera picture. It's blurry, but my dog Pluto went barking at it last night, and he came running back and hid behind the couch. At first, I thought it was a bear, but it walked on two legs, taller than me. We all laughed it off and said that Uncle Donald was probably been drinking a little bit too much, or probably the light playing some tricks on him, probably a stray hog nosing around. We were going to count the hogs down at the pen later and see if they were in there, but deep down, we knew that Uncle Donald wasn't one to spook easily. Morning came. It was damp and gray, the kind of fog that clings to the lowlands like breath on a glass. The woods of Onslow County still held the chill of the night before. 6 of us gathered where the sand road meets the creek: Crowfoot, Snakebite, Preacher, Frizz, me, Sasquatch, and the youngest, Wheel. Crowfoot, the oldest of the bunch, stood by the truck sipping coffee from a dented thermos, steam curling into a mist. Air's thick with something. I don't rightly trust it, he said. Something ain't right. Snakebite, already halfway through breakfast, grinned. I stopped by the Piggly Wiggly, got me a parfait, and it's delicious. I looked at him deadpan and said, spell it. He laughed through a mouthful of strawberries and granola. He said, I don't have to spell it to eat it. Preacher shook his head. Lord, keep us humble and help us spell parfait. Frizz snorted, nearly choking on his biscuit, and the hounds in the box started barking. For a moment, it felt like any other moment. That was before the world changed. We turned the dogs loose, and they struck pretty quick. A strong track, fresh. They bayed once, twice in the woods, and then went dead quiet. No rustle, no call, no sound at all. Just the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. The Garmin screen blinked. The dogs were moving, but not on the screen the way they should have been. The signal jumped around and vanished and reappeared 300 yards deeper in the swamp. Crowfoot, Crowfoot, man, I can't talk. Crowfoot squinted at the GPS. There ain't no way they covered that much ground that fast. When the dogs broke back in the trees, they weren't the same. They came running hard, tails tucked, whining. Their collars were smeared with sap and torn leaves, big leaves, broad leaves as big as your arm, green in the middle of January, and the air buzzed behind them with the high and slow whine of something that didn't belong. Frizz slapped his neck. What the? He held it up in his hand. On his palm was the biggest mosquito I'd ever seen in my life. It was the size of a silver dollar, its body strapped like amber glass. Y'all throw some likes in there. That would be nice if you did. We all just stared. Preacher whispered, Lord have mercy, this thing ain't from our time. And then out came the fog. There was a shape at first, dark, shifting, too big to be a deer and too solid to be smoke. Then it moved again, breaking the mist apart like curtains, and there it was, a creature from another time. Something from 65 million years ago. Small for what it was, but still taller than any man. And its hide was rough and dappled. Its teeth glinted white through a mouth that looked like it was made for tearing through time itself. There's no doubt it was a T-Rex, a small one, no taller than a truck cab, but unmistakably real. The hunting party stood frozen. The only sound was the thudding of our hearts. The beast tilted its head, nostrils flaring, and it let out a low, guttural rumble that vibrated the ground. The hounds erupted, howling as if they had just seen the devil himself, and I thought we may have. Crowfoot shouted, Don't shoot, let the dogs work it. The dogs didn't hesitate. They charged, 6 of them, cutting through the fog like ghosts, baying so loud the trees shook. The creature spun, whipping its tail through the pine straw in the air, and took off through the swamp, each step shaking the water loose from the tree limbs above. The dogs stayed on it, closing fast. Their voices echoed across Rattlesnake Creek, sharp, wild, and pure. Frizz raised his rifle. It's going to cross the cutover. We watched the tree line, and for a split second, the fog parted. The creature burst into view, snarling, running full tilt. Frizz steadied his aim, finger tightening on the trigger. And just as he fired, the creature vanished. The shot rang out, echoed once, twice, then nothing. The bullet kicked up some mud and some pine needles, but there was no hit. The hounds ran straight through where the thing had been, their barks muffled, distant, like they were chasing something through water, or maybe even through time itself. The fog folded in around them. The GPS blinked out again, and the forest went still. Minutes passed. The dogs came back one by one, soaked, shivering, and covered in that same green sap. Their eyes were wide, like they had seen something no dog should have ever seen. Will whispered, Where did it go? Preacher shook his head, not where, but when. Crowfoot looked down at the ground, tracing a half print in the mud. It was deep and clawed, too big to be any bear that ever walked these woods, and it didn't have enough toes. We never found another sign of it, not a sound, not a track, not a thing. But back at the trucks where we were leashing up the dogs, we found something stuck in one of their collars. A piece of fresh fern, green, from a plant that has not existed in millions of years. And that night, when Uncle Donald called again, he said that camera took another picture, and you might want to come look at it. Now, I posted that picture up as the thumbnail for this story so that you guys could get an idea what this creature looked like. Now, some people insist we were just seeing things, but how can they explain the 65 million year old fern leaf that we've got preserved in the clubhouse? It's framed in glass, hanging right above the wood stove, right next to the photo of Lucky and the whole Cedar Holler crew. Every time we gather there, someone eventually glances up at it and the room goes quiet. You can hear the fire crackle. You can smell the pine smoke. You can feel that same uneasy stillness that rolled in the fog that morning. Sometimes stories fade with time. Other times they come back every hunting season, whispered in the dark, when the hounds grow restless and the swamp goes still. And if you've never hunted near Rattlesnake Creek, keep your dogs close, your coffee hot, and your mind open. Because what's gone isn't always gone, and sometimes the past will find its way home. Hope you enjoyed the campfire story tonight. I'm going to throw another log on the fire. We're going to sit here and let the fire burn a little bit. If you enjoyed the story, throw a couple of likes up. I recorded this live tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. This content that I'm recording is written by me. They are original stories by the one and only Sasquatch. This is Todd Edwards in TicBite, North Carolina. I'm going to close this one out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the campfire story.